I'm John, and yeah, my English is not very good. Ek is rou Afrikaans. So yeah, if there's something I'm struggling with, I'll ask. Okay. Um, I love what I'm doing. A few years back, I just started with bonsai, but I had this feeling that I want to do something more about bonsai. I want to tell a story with the tree standing. That's where I am. And I started looking at painting, and the little figurines didn't do it really for me with the little breeches. It looks nice, but it's not South African. I want to do something in South Africa that is South African, and I love ruins. So I came up with the idea, started building ruins and old farmhouses, and um, and it started working. And it was a lot of trial and errors. It's still a lot of trial and errors as I do my stuff. I will start building something, and then I say, okay, it doesn't work, and then I will start over because I like to do it as realistic as possible. It must be really. I love the detail as well in my projects. So yeah, my first one that I built was a temple, and that was a big success. Also, it almost took me a year to just do the build of the whole frame and everything. And then I built that sandstone arch wall, and I think that one is now about 15 years in process. And normally in Bloemfontein, we can't grow moss. That's the only one in my garden. The moss is growing. I don't know why, but it's growing. So I just leave the moss. It must just go. It looks nice. And then last year, Pretoria invited me for a demo, and I started with a lighthouse. On the lighthouse, each and every little stone on that lighthouse is broken off, sanded down to size, and stick on. It almost also took me about a year to build. As I started building, the ideas came up, and then I started changing things, tried to make it better, make it easier for myself. Even the light on top was just a little glass dome that I first had. Then it didn't work for me, So and then I come up with just a little piece of glass that I cut and put it all together. Sometimes I do get angry at myself because I going too big. I'm getting older and it's getting heavier, and yeah, but the lighthouse, if I build it on this scale, it wouldn't have the same impact. On this size, it tells a story, and a much nicer story. Um, this is some of the stuff that I also built. This was on the temple that I made. That I cut with a grinder and filled in the little layers with a glue called steenfas that I use, and also took a little bit of a long time to build. This is actually one of the side walls of the pot that goes around the pot, and it's quite big. But this is and I just use tall bricks, and this is how it looks when I started. This is a raw material, and this is on the end what I end up with. Yeah. So I first started cutting them in little bricks, and it didn't work. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to lose fingers here with this cutting small little bricks. And I came up with how you just cut it in, just fill it in, and it actually worked very well. And it's much solid, it works very nice. Um, uh, the thing is, the same with this little beetle that I did with uh, the root over beetle. The beetles is also my passion. Combies and beetles. That's actually my work. I restore them, and that's what I love. And I thought to myself, okay, let's bring something into the bonsai and the beetle that I love. And I started this one also I think it's about 10 years ago. I planted this tree over this beetle. It did get last year with the frost. It did get a little bit hurt, but it's still living. But yeah, it actually grew on very nicely on this little scene. Um, so I like to play around, and that's what it's about. My scenes and everything that I do, I love to play, and I love to break the rules as well. So uh, uh, a lot of people would, I prefer something like more like this than just a tree. It tells the story much better for me. Today, I want to do something different as well, and it's going to be South African. I started off with a nice slate. They're getting very scarce now. You're battling to find nice slates. Um, so what I'm going to do is I have this olive tree that I want to plant in. I just want to put on the guy wires quickly and get it all to tighten it a little bit. If I go back to Bloemfontein so it doesn't move around, maybe I'll take it apart. I'll still decide. And Saikei is also everything have to be in proportion. The leaves of your if it's smaller, you can't go and put this little house with big leaves like that. Um, uh, it have to be in proportion. How smaller the leaves are, it's much better. I'm going to put some guy wires in. I love the movement here. It looks nice and natural. If you look at this side here, it doesn't look that nice. There's an ugly piece broken out there. I had an other idea. I was actually looking for a smaller little slate that I wanted to do two pieces with that's a little bit away from this side that looks the same as this with a little tree at the back here. But I couldn't find a nice piece, so I'm just going to work what I have here. Okay. To anchor my guy wires, I use super glue and baking soda. Yeah. Building this themes of my, it keeps my head busy and it keeps me relaxed. If it wasn't for this, I would have been long time in Groendakkies. Um, it's it's relaxing. It's sometimes my mind will run away with me. My wife will come and talk to me, and I start building and Jaun, and yeah, I lift myself into my scenes, and as I build, I decide, okay, this is where I want to be. I actually want to feel myself sitting there. You know, and I get so excited sometimes. Sometimes I wish I can build faster. And it's just that super glue won't stick it to the slate. So you have to use You can use a fine sand as well, but I noticed a lot of sand doesn't work. So the baking soda actually works the best. Okay, I'm just going to do the one guy wire because I still need to decide where I'm going to put the other trees. Then I'll change it a little bit. It's good to put a guide wire on the trees, especially if you move it a lot and to keep it in position, especially for a few years, just a year, just to let it set on your slate. Because if I build something, it will just go and stand in my garden. I don't move it a lot. It will stand there and then it will grow. I will replant it maybe. It depends on the growth of the tree. Maybe once a year we'll just take it out, put a little bit of new soil. But further on, that one is standing now there for almost, I think, 4 years last that I planted it out. So it's been a while. The thing with Saikei as well, you don't have to have the perfect tree. If you have a nice tree and it as a single tree, it won't look nice in a pot. There's always something about the root doesn't look nice. But in a Saikei, you can hide it. And you can make that tree looks much better in a Saikei than in a single pot. So that's the nice thing about it. If you've got I want to say, an ugly tree, you can make it work in a Saikei. Normally, I would first lay out my rocks that I want to put it on the side as well. Stick it, use steenvas and just stick them on there. But on this one, I decided I'm just going to put my rocks on top. I don't want to stick anything on it. If I want to change maybe later, I would like to change it again. So for this one, I'm just going to do the soil and just position my rocks so it looks natural and I don't want to go too overboard with the rocks because less is more. I really want to focus on the scene that I'm creating. I don't want to disturb too much of the roots on this one. Uh, so I'm just going to loosen a little bit. You can already see this tree taking shape just on the slate. The pot this tree was standing in, it's a beautiful bonsai pot. And when I first put it on the slate to see if it's going to work, it's a total different tree. A slate do something. I love it. It's natural. It's giving you a much better feeling about the landscape. The thing with Saikei, you have to have contours. You don't want everything just flattened. So there have to be a little bit of movement in the swell to give you that. It's going down a little bit, you know. You will see with the plan that I have, I want to create this almost like a savanna with one house here and then one further away. That's what I'm trying to create here. Crusher dust. I picked it up against the road on the gravel roads. So I picked that up, just sift it a little bit, wash it. That's what I'm using. A little bit of compost. And on this one, I just put a little bit of akadama as well, sakadama that I used. Because on the side, I love to put a little bit of compost in as well for the grasses that I'm going to use. And you can go so far with it. Your imagination, it's actually a wonderful thing, your imagination. You can, if you see a nice picture somewhere, you can actually a place that you visited, you can actually bring that to size with a tree. And the scene that I'm busy with, I was a few years back in, I think it was close to Richards Bay. There was I visited a nursery there, and I saw this scene with this big tree and the Zulu huts that I saw, and that's what I'm trying to. So this is what I built it. This is my little Zulu hut. Um, this one is also built with little stones that I actually smashed with a hammer to make it a little bit smaller pieces. And then you'll see I fitted it's all rotten wood that I cut in small pieces to make the frames inside the PVC pipe. I like to use a frame, a solid frame, and I work around that. This one, I needed to do something much bigger than I usually, because if I do something, I like to go big. And with this demonstration, I had to go a little bit smaller, and that's going to take a little bit more, with not a lot of my time. Most people don't see Saikei as bonsai, and it's for me, it's not really bonsai, but it gives you a nicer feeling. But it's not appreciated. It's supposed to be appreciated, my opinion, and it's sad. Um, most of most of the people that they just like the single tree in a pot, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But Saikei is on the back end. The first, my first attempt to the roof was also a little bit of a disaster. I first made a wire mesh inside, and then I thought to myself, okay, I have to take grass and just lay them down. It have to look like the real thing. And when I just finished it, and I put it on the house, I thought to myself, okay, no, this is definitely not going to work. The size, yeah. So I started walking around in the garden, and I thought to myself, what I'm going to use, and I've got this palm tree with this looks like yeah, and I start cutting it off, and it actually came out real nice. It works, you know. So all my materials I try to find at home as well. You know, it's very seldom I will buy something. I'm going to put the other one a little bit in the distance, so it looks. I want to create that scene. To get that depth. It's amazing what you can actually do with just a small tree. And with Saikei, sometimes I'm a little bit bad with it, but you have to keep your hands on it. If something starts breaking, fix it. fill it up with it happens, you know. So you have to fill it up with gravel again. And what do you think so far? I wish I had this tree a little bit more developed, but the idea is there. I like the idea of the 3 trees. I brought some extra trees just for in case, but I think 3 trees are enough for the scene. I don't want to overdo it. The thing is with a landscape, there's always some rocks as well. So a landscape without rocks, they have to be rocks. So we'll do the guy wires later on that. I'm going to pack the rocks quickly and make still sure the trees are still in position before I put the guy wires in. And the thing is with this African scene as well, you it doesn't help you put the little figurines here with the guy Chinese man reading a book. It's 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 not going to work. Okay. I pick up these rocks. There's a farm close to us that I usually go and dug out trees, and I saw this rocks there, and it actually looks really nice. You know, it's not too busy. It's kind of there's nothing really special about it, but it will work in my scene. So what I'll do is as well to keep the contours. I will use the rocks as well, and in between, not just moss. Okay. The moss, after the rocks, I've got those little pieces of moss on it, and that is also a little bit eye catching for me. You know, I thought to myself, okay, it's not too much, but it will work. You have to your rocks as well. Your bigger rocks in front, and your smaller rocks to the back, to keep that get that feeling of depth. They have to get smaller. The same with your mosses. If you use moss, your little bit of thicker moss in front and your finer moss to the back. On this side, I'm not going to put a big rock on top, so I just try to hide it away with a little bit of soil. So it's just a little piece that's going to stick out. Placing the rocks is very important. It's just sometimes when you got bigger rocks, and then you have to glue them. But on a small scene like this, it's hardly maybe on the side I will glue them, you know, on this side. But yeah, I try to the same with the bonsai. You have a triangular shape. Everything has to be in movement. You see, this bigger tree flows to this one to get the yeah, yes, and the same with this back one. I would have liked if the pot was a little bit bigger, so I can move this tree a little bit to the back, the smaller tree. I would have loved that. It would have worked much better for me. But I think I can work with that. And normally I would have used steenvas if I know exactly where the trees have to, I would have used steenvas. So this is just a quick fix. Yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle for me to get smaller little trees because most of my trees are big trees. I don't have a lot of small trees, but I think I have to concentrate more on the smaller trees now. I wanted to as well, it has to invite you in the whole scene. If you stand there, you actually want to feel, yes, it's inviting me in. Just come in, come and walk. Yes, it's real. I want to go and walk there. So the same with this tree on this side. I want to try to, it have to have that almost like it's hugging you. It's coming around. You see it? I will later on develop this tree a little bit further. So it have the same look as this one and then this one as well. But I'm really happy just with the 3 trees in it.